Well, I think I'm probably like a lot of you in that let me ask you a question. Maybe we're not like each other. I did not grow up wanting to be a real estate agent. Um, is there anyone else in the room who grew up thinking that they were going to be something else when they grew up? Let's see a show of hands. Okay, so there's a lot of us who grew up with some other dream for their life, right? And just to give you a little bit of background, first let me tell you where I am and what I'm doing now, and then we'll start at the back and work our way to the now. I have Pollock Properties Group with Keller Williams. We office out of Short Hills, New Jersey. We serve all of the towns 30 to 60 minutes west of New York City. And I am really, really grateful to, hold on, I have to change my view real quick. Grateful to let you know that we now have pending and closed 98.2 million for this year. It has been a profound year for our team, as I know it has been for everyone. And this is coming from a 2019 where we closed out right around 55 million in sales volume. So virtually to double in 1 year. There's been a lot of growing pains and exciting things that have happened along the way. And like all of you, we have been firmly rooted in our culture at Keller Williams on being learning based, right? It was never been more important than it is right now to be learning based. And I just thank all of you for being so learning based because you're here. You're choosing to be learning based. And so every day this year has been an opportunity to wake up and say, okay, what do I need to learn today to be a better business owner, to be a better fiduciary, to be a better wife, a better mom, a better woman of faith, and a better just business owner and human. This year has grown me and our business more than any other year before. But let's flash back to Vanessa from, I won't tell you how many years ago, little Vanessa. Growing up, I wanted to be a dancer. And I was. It was my dream for my life. And it was my first career. I literally stood at the ballet bar practically every day for over 15 years. And I went to college and got a BFA in dance and was able to perform with several professional dance companies, both in high school, in college, and afterwards. Nobody, though, had ever talked to me about what would happen after a dancer's joints, ligaments, bones, and body gave out. I spent the better part of my 20s, a whole decade, truly searching for what in the world I was going to do now that I was adulting or needing to adult, right? And I think so many of us go through that phase of, okay, now what? Well, after about a decade of searching, I had married my college sweetheart. We were living up in this area because my husband is a Broadway actor. Not at the moment. I'm sure you've heard that the entire Broadway community is shut down through next June. That's a separate story. But we had our first child. And that guy changed things for me. And having that baby really made me start thinking hard about what was the purpose of my life. And if I was going to go to work every day, because I'm a worker, remember, I'll stand at the ballet bar 6 days a week and work all day long, and that followed me into the rest of my life. If I was going to go to work, what was I going to be doing, and would it make a difference? I knew I wanted it to make a difference. I knew I wanted to do something that I was passionate about and where there was a sense of purpose to it. And I'll just show you. This is that baby. I don't know if you can see it so well, but I've had these pictures of my son at my desk since I launched my real estate career. Now that kid turns 17 in a few weeks, so that gives you a little bit of idea of how long I've been on this journey. But after he was born, I very quickly was like, okay, if I'm going to go back to work, what should it be? And my husband told me, he said, you know what, babe, you love design and real estate and you love people. I think you should be in real estate. And sometimes we have people in our lives who know us better than we know ourselves, right? And it was important for me to listen to that encouragement and to listen to his voice and him being my person. And I said, okay, let's do it. I'm going to get into real estate. And I did. I became, I got hired in the Empire State Building as a rental agent in New York City. And it's hard to get your license in New York City. It took me a long time, and I'd hand that baby to my husband and go take the classes and got the license and got started with this rental agency, and then woke up a few weeks into being this rental agent and realized that everyone around me was lying, cheating, and stealing. And I said, you know what? I don't think this is the industry for me. I wanted to do something that I was passionate about. I know I love real estate and people, but I'm not willing to do this if it's going to be like this. So he said, you know what, I understand, and I don't want you to do anything that you're not passionate about and you don't feel good about. And yet maybe it's an adjustment. Our friends just bought a house and they're realtors looking to hire an assistant. Maybe it's a pivot over to residential sales. So I said, okay, I would look into that. So I went on one interview and I got hired to be this woman's assistant. Now, anyone at Keller Williams knows that our hiring process through career visioning usually is a few more conversations than one 20-minute interview, because neither party involved can truly understand what the long-term goals are and if it's going to be a match or not. Anyway, I got hired after one conversation to become this woman's assistant. And I worked for her for 8 months as her assistant for free, in exchange for mentorship and knowledge and the opportunity to learn about real estate, with the idea that she'd soon be retiring and she wanted to pass her business off to someone and I would be positioned to do that. After 8 months' time, I realized she actually wasn't retiring and it was not going the way that we thought it was going to go. And I needed to end that business relationship. So remember, my husband is taking care of that newborn baby this whole time while I'm launching this real estate career. And now almost a year has gone by where I have been working to learn, but not working to earn. It'd been a year. We'd gone through all of our savings, which was supposed to be a down payment on a home for the three of us to live in, and we were down to zero. And I said, you know what, honey, this isn't going to work. This isn't happening. I've made a huge mistake. I need to go back to temping in the city or waitressing or bartending or anything to help make ends meet. And he said, no, that what we've done in the last year is paid for your master's in real estate. I mean, not really, but really, you know exactly what to go do now. It's time to go get started as your own agent. You know who you are. You know what you stand for now. You know what kind of agent you don't want to be. You know the kind of fiduciary you want to be to people and the impact you want to make in our world. Go do it. We will live off of credit cards until the closings start to come, because I know they will. So first of all, I had some major limiting beliefs, right? And he was a voice that helped me remove those limiting beliefs. So I would just want to ask you, who are those voices in your life? Who are you surrounding yourself with right now? That when you have those limiting beliefs, because we all do, they're there to help you think through and encourage you to get to the other side of that. And then the other side of the coin on that is, who are you doing that for? Who are you encouraging and saying, yes, you can. You can do it. I believe in you. Because gosh, what a difference that made. Because of his encouragement and belief in me, within 90 days, I had multiple sales on the board in our office. And within no time, I had become the top single producer for that entire red, white, and blue balloon franchise that had 3 offices, one of which the woman I used to assist was within, and I had surpassed her in sales. But if my husband hadn't believed in me, I may not have ever stayed on that course. So then, flash forward, we have a couple more babies. My career is going, crazy good. I'm a single agent. I'm wearing all the hats. I'm doing absolutely everything I possibly can. It's like, I'm going to design the brochures, and I've got to do the MLS, and I'm going to do the Zillow, and I have to show all the houses, and then 3 babies, and I'm answering every single client call all hours of the day. And then I'm realizing I'm missing bath time, and I'm missing bedtime, and this business is just eating me alive. And I'd lost sight of the why. I lost sight of that I wanted to be a light in this industry, and I wanted to do it in a way that would make an impact, because I had gotten so consumed by the busyness. Well, I knew I needed to make a difference, make a change. I knew something had to shift. And I heard about Keller Williams, and I heard about their core values of God, family, business. And I knew that at that time, I was not at all operating in that particular order. In all honesty, when I decided I wanted to come to Keller Williams, because of that, I had to admit that I was walking in the door with these 3 little kids, a pretty good business, and a drinking problem, right? And my priorities were not God, family, business. My priorities were probably like booze, babies, business, booze, husband. Like, it was all over the place. But I knew I needed something more. I knew that if there was a company that was going to say God, family, business, that at least if I could get into the presence of that, it would help me figure that out. Now, side note, I don't want anybody to get uncomfortable because I just said God, family, business. The beautiful thing that you all need to know about Keller Williams is that this company is not going to tell you what to believe. They just want you to put this prioritization into place for your life. This company so beautifully believes in the inherent equality of every single human being. It makes me cry. I love it so deeply. So please just don't get weirded out that it's like a faith thing. It's not about that. It's about prioritization. Whatever you believe, your truth, lean into that first. So I joined Keller Williams, and I get started on this epic journey within this company to figure out that prioritization for myself. And in doing that, I realized, okay, for me to be a light in this industry, I can't do it alone. I actually need to build a team. If we're going to shine bright, if what I believe is that we want to do things in a way that makes a difference, I need more hands on deck, and we need to make as big of an impact as we can. So I went on the team building journey. And it wasn't really about me, it was about this mission to be a light in the industry. So in the building of the team, it became pretty clear that I needed to start to understand truly, like, what was the higher purpose of our team and our mission. What did we stand for? What did we believe in? And it was when I was inducted as a cultural ambassador, just a few years into the company, that it really, really hit me that I needed to think big. I needed to have a model and a system to my mission and to the purpose of my business. And so what we're going to talk about today is, yes, the purpose that I found in my business and what our business motto is. But I really want to lead you all in a discussion about helping you unpack the purpose of your business. Is everybody with me still? Can I see a thumbs up if everybody's still there? Okay, good. Just want to be sure. So after becoming a cultural ambassador, which for our newer agents or guests here today, Keller Williams does this beautiful thing where it honors the people who embody our culture, and our culture is um, it's the predetermined way we agree we're going to treat each other, and it's the marriage of our production and what we want to stand for and who we want to be out in the world, and generosity and making a difference. And there's so much that goes into it. And so they induct cultural ambassadors, and it's a lifelong appointment. Well, as I walked across the stage being inducted for this simple thing that our team had started doing, which was making a donation to the charity of choice for our client, I realized I have to think bigger. I've got to create a model and a system for that. So within weeks of becoming a cultural ambassador, I sat down and I created our entire business model, which revolves around the values of care, serve, give. I wore my t-shirt for you guys today. And the whole idea being that we want to care about our clients, provide the best service in the real estate, and also give back locally and globally. But really, the business model, I realized, was deeper than that. And there were layers to it. And as I thought about it, it was like, okay, so care, I'm going to unpack the idea of care in terms of self-care, in terms of the care of my team, in terms of how we care about our clients, and then how we care about the community. And then I unpacked those 4 layers for service. How do I want to serve? How should my team be serving? How do we serve our clients? How do we serve the community? And same for generosity. And as I built it out, I thought about the one thing, right? And we all know, what is the one thing that if I focus on it, by doing it, everything else will become unnecessary, right? Less important, unnecessary. And I really had to realize at the very beginning was self-care, right? And wrapped up in self-care is understanding your purpose. It's understanding why you do what you do. Well, part of that became I had to take care of some things personally, right? I knew I needed to break up with my very best friends, Merlot, Cabernet, and Chardonnay, and that it was going to be a hard breakup, but that it was going to be a necessary one, and that would be the first domino down for me. And in doing so, it allowed me to step into the reprioritization, as we talked about, of getting closer to God, family, business. So that self-care moment was critical for me. So I just want you to think for a second, and look, it does not need to be as heavy and deep and dramatic as what I have been through, but each of us has something that we know that if we took care of it in terms of self-care, it would unlock something and allow our brains to focus on other things. I know that what I focused on needed to change. And by removing that from my focus, I could focus on other things, because remember, what we focus on expands. And I wanted the things I was focusing on to be positive. So what is that one thing, perhaps, that you know, if you made a change within that one self-care area, it might allow you, it might allow your brain, it might allow your business to focus on something else. So here we are all these years later, and over the course of the last 8 years of sobriety and care, serve, give, and Keller Williams and culture and being learning based and leaning into everything that KW's had to offer, that is how our organization has gone from around 8 to 10 million in sales volume a year to, like I told you at the beginning, we are absolutely determined to close 100 million this year. And I know that if I hadn't started back with me and with self-care, none of that would have fallen into place that like it has. So I'm going to try to share my screen now. What I would love for you all to write down and think about is this idea that when you do find your purpose and you marry it to action, it will bring profit, which will allow for giving. And this is a formula that I follow on a regular basis. Purpose plus action equals profit, which yields giving. Now, the beginning of that is purpose. And research shows that purpose-driven companies resonate more with consumers than any. And purpose-driven companies resonate more with millennials than with anyone else. A purpose-driven company, a purpose behind a company drives loyalty, both from consumers and also retention, loyalty from within your organization. But here's what I'll tell you, when you find your purpose, it actually then fuels your own loyalty and retention and motivation on a day-to-day basis. Now, here's a question for you. How many of you, if you've been in this business for longer than 5 minutes, are already tired of negotiating home inspection issues, as an example? Right? Like, to me, after 15 years of talking about roofing, I need some extra motivation. Well, having a deeper meaning and a deeper purpose to your business helps me wake up and say, I know the purpose is this, so therefore I can go have my 900th conversation about a roof today because I know the bigger why behind it. Now, can I move on to asking you all 3 questions to help you determine what your purpose is? Is everybody, can I get a thumbs up? Is everybody, okay. Does everybody have pen and paper? Show me your pen if you've got a pen. Okay, awesome. So here's my first question for you. I want you to ask yourself, what is your superpower? What is my superpower? And I want you to think about this and be completely honest with yourself. I do not want you to worry that you're bragging or that you're at all acting with a lack of humility, because this is what I know about your superpower. This is how God wired you up. Your creator made you this way. So you can't even claim it. You can't even really brag about it because it was given to you as a gift. You're just great at it. And here's some ideas. Here's some suggestions for what your superpower might be. Maybe it's leadership or organization or friendship or teaching or writing or humor or speaking or inspiration, coordination, prayer. There's so many superpowers out there. You know how you're wired up to be so successful that you can't help but be good at it. So I'm going to give us 1 minute. I want you to think about that. And I want you to write down 1 or 2 of your superpowers. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 minute. Go. All right, just a couple more seconds. How are you wired up to succeed? You're just so good at it. You just can't help it. All right, I'm going to ask that 2 or 3 or maybe 4 people be willing to share today what they feel like their superpower is. Can I get 2 or 3 or 4 people to just unmute and tell us what you know?
I'll share.
Thank you. Who is that? Is that Lisa?
Yeah, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem. I would say mine are patience and listening. Those are my two that I've always had since I was little.
Thank you. I love that. I'm so grateful that you were the first to share. Thanks, Lisa. Let's hear one more. What else? Virginia.
Persistency.
Is that Matthew? Matthew, then Virginia. Matthew, tell me again.
Persistency. Persistent and consistent.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Virginia, let me know.
Yes. First of all, thank you so much, Vanessa. Your constant inspiration. So my superpowers are connect people and ideas, inspire people to be true to themselves, and build communities.
Thank you so much. Awesome. You guys are participating on a high level. I love it. I bet we've got one more in here. What's one more superpower somebody wants to share with us?
I would say,
Richard, thank you.
You're welcome. I think it's help. I truly enjoy helping people achieve their goals, whether they're selling a home or buying a home.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. You guys are incredible. I'm going to ask you the next question. And here's what's happening. Remember, there's 3 questions I'm asking. You're writing down all 3. And at the end, we're going to really be able to put together your purpose statement. And at that point, I'll share mine and we'll be able to share together. But let me ask you our next question. And it's this. What do you, and this is unique to you, what do you envy in others? Now, here's what I know about envy. Envy's not actually a bad thing. Envy is just a road that has a fork in it. And you can allow envy to go in one direction and it can be a negative and turn into jealousy. Or envy can go the other direction and become admiration. And through admiration, you can move towards it and become more like it. So when you think about the things in the world that you envy, and really, let's just make the decision that it's admiration, that you want to embody more of it, that you want to be more of it, and you want to inspire it in others. What is that for you? So I'm going to give you another minute, and I want you to write down, what is it that you admire? Give you about 10 more seconds to write down that thing that you admire, that you want to inspire more of in yourself and in the people around you. All right, so again, let's get 2, 3, or 4 people maybe to share what is that trait that you admire, that you envy. Who will share that with me? 2, 3, or 4 people.
I said confidence.
Who is that? Demetrios. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, say it for me.
Demetrius.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Confidence, inspiring confidence. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
What's another trait? Can someone else share with us what they admire in others and want to inspire in themselves and others?
Vanessa,
I hear you, Joseph.
I like the way people can initiate a conversation with anybody. Like, they don't have to know them. They don't have to know anything about them. I'm the type of person that can jump into a conversation and sometimes can be very long-winded when I start talking. But I'm not one to walk up to a stranger and just start a conversation. And I admire people that can.
Yeah, I do too. What's the word that we can give to that? We were gonna a connector? Connection?
Yeah, maybe a connection.
I love that. Thank you, Joseph. What's one more thing that people admire, envy, admire, and want to inspire more of in themselves and people around them?
Compassion.
Thank you, Richard. Compassion. Absolutely. All right, so now everybody's written down your superpower. You've written down that thing that you want to inspire more of in yourself and in the people around you. Third question, I want you to ask yourself, what breaks your heart? Now you know the drill already. I'm about to go to another slide and I'm going to give you a bunch of examples. And yet I want you to ask yourself, when you really think about everything that is happening in our world right now, and my goodness, is there a lot. If you could make a difference in one area, what would it be? Like, you know that same creator who gave you those superpowers has also called you to make a difference through your life and your business as it pertains to this struggle that we have here. And here's a list of examples, and it is like not even touching, this just doesn't even begin to name all of the things that are happening in our world. But think for a moment about that thing that breaks your heart. Like, you're just moved, you've got to do something about it. And take a minute to write that down. Really think about it. And it may be something that has affected you personally, or it may be something that you just have always felt drawn to. What is that thing? So let's hear from 2 or 3 or 4 maybe people on what is it that breaks your heart? What is it that you, if you could make a difference and know that you could leave a legacy impacting change within that one area, you know you're called to make a difference, what would that be?
I can share.
Thank you, David.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for sharing with us. Jump in here. I hear you.
Honestly, family discord and sudden loss lately have been so heavy on my mind lately. Just so many people are at odds with each other, and then we're having this sudden loss of family. You know, people have passed from COVID or just anything, and I just like keeping the people that are close to you and being able to forgive differences.
Yeah.
I think is just, that's so heavy on my heart right now lately.
I am so grateful that you shared that. And I don't think there's anyone globally who that's not impacting right now. So thank you. What else could somebody share with us in terms of what breaks your heart in the world today?
Vanessa, I'd like to share, please.
Kathy, thank you so much.
My pleasure. First of all, thank you for your time today. I
Oh.
appreciate that. And I did see you, I think it was family reunion when you were on stage with Mo.
Yeah,
Seems like a lifetime ago, right?
I know. The
Horrible.
Cultural Summit.
Yeah.
I've been honored to co-host it with Mo for several years now. So thank you for that.
Of course, she's wonderful, and so are you as well. So the thing that breaks my heart right now, especially working with this company for the past, I guess it's 5 or 6 years, we're all about empowering people and helping them to succeed. And what breaks my heart is when I come across someone who feels they have no self-worth.
Yes. Thank you, Kathy.
Of course.
Yeah, I feel that with you too. Let's hear one more. Can we hear one more? What's that thing that breaks your heart?
Hello.
Hi, Scott.
Okay, besides all the things that break my heart pertaining to humans and all of us, is animal abuse and the homeless animals. I can't even look at any Facebook posting. It crushes me to see all the abuse out there.
Yep. Absolutely. Thank you. It is. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Oh, what a special group of people you are. And I'm so grateful for each of you who have shared and for each of you who are writing down everything as we go. I want to now just put these things together for us. So here's the idea. I want you to think through your superpower along with what you admire and what breaks your heart. And those things come together to create a purpose statement. And I want to give you an example of what that sounds like. So for me, I'll give you a long description and then I'll boil it down. For me, through the process of figuring out what my superpower is over the years, I've realized that I'm really on fire and able to cast a vision. I'm a vision caster. I love to map out a future and get people on board to go in the direction of that vision and of that mission. And the thing that I want to that I envied in people and wanted to embody more of and inspire in others was generosity. I very early in my career realized that generosity had so many layers to it, that people could be generous with their story. People could be generous with their square footage, their home. People could be generous with their money. And that when I was that struggling bartender, waitress, temp, post being a dancer before getting into real estate, the people who were generous, I envied so much and wanted to be more able to be generous myself and to inspire generosity in others. And then what breaks my heart usually almost always comes down to the idea of inequity and inequality. It breaks my heart for anyone to think that they are not worthy of love and worthy of all good things and deserving of the future that they deserve, having the future that they deserve. And what I want you to understand about what breaks your heart is it will be pivoting and it will be changing with the times and with what's going on in the world. So pre-COVID, if I were giving this speech, I would have said, what breaks my heart is inequality within my school district, that there are children in my school district who cannot afford to rent band or orchestra instruments. And that breaks my heart. I want every child to have access to music education. Music is very important to my family. Remember, I'm married to a Broadway actor. We've got 3 kids. One of them is a prodigious musician. This is a loud house. And it broke my heart to learn that there were children in our school district that didn't have access to the music education that our son had. And we committed as a business and as a family to use my vision casting to inspire generosity in people to fundraise for music education in our school district. That was my purpose statement. I will use my ability to inspire and cast a vision to therefore inspire generosity in our community to raise money for music education for children in our school district. Well, COVID happened. Let me tell you what it morphed into very quickly. And mind you, we lived out that purpose statement as a business for the last 5 years. But when COVID happened, I realized, okay, strategies have to pivot. The core of who we are stays the same. That's our bedrock. And yet how we do it might look different, and the need might shift. What breaks your heart might shift as the world shifts. And so this spring, what changed for us was a great inequality within our region, as you all know, being in this region with me, that our healthcare heroes did not have access to the PPE that they needed. Not a political statement, just the fact of the matter that we had doctors and nurses in our local hospitals who did not have enough personal protective equipment. So I used my ability to cast a vision within my community to raise money, resources, and hands to serve and to generously bring together face shields for our healthcare heroes. And our team and our market center partnered with some local groups here within our area. And for about 8 weeks, we didn't even talk much about real estate. All we did was cast a vision within our sphere, within our database, and within our community that we're going to come together as a community and either give of service hours or time to put together face shields for healthcare heroes. And over the course of those few months, we were able to distribute over 60,000 face shields to doctors and nurses in our region and around the world. Now, the purpose of our business after that had been fulfilled, and thankfully our healthcare heroes are protected, it's able to pivot back to what we know truly is a gap in our school district now more than ever. Now more than ever, there are kids in need in our school district who do not have the same access to music instruction and what they need in this remote learning environment. So we have pivoted back, and I use our team, our business as an opportunity to cast a vision for our community to gather around, donate time and money to our music initiative. Now, what does that look like as you marry it with action? Remember, I said it's purpose plus action. That's what gets to profit and therefore being able to give. For us, the action is lead generation, I guess is one word that we're told, but I don't even think of it as lead generation, because for me, when this purpose statement is coming alive, I'm doing care calls to check in on people, and if they're doing well, I'm able to say, I wanted to let you know that our annual fundraising holiday concert that we usually do all together is pivoting to a live stream. And can I just ask you to save the date, December 19th? We're going to have a holiday concert and we're going to raise money for music education like we have. It's our tradition. We're pivoting it in these times, but we're going to make a difference for the kids in our school district. Can I count on you to save the date? That is the action we're able to take. And in doing so, of course, you guys know that your sphere and your data bank then turns around and says, of course I'll be there. How's the market? and you organically get into the real estate conversations. But by having that purpose statement driving the action that you're taking in your business, people know who you are and what you stand for and the difference you want to make, the legacy you want to leave. And of course, you gain mind share that amounts to market share when they have a real estate need. So that was my purpose statement share and how it's been utilized in an action way. I'm not expecting you to share on the action piece of it, but has anyone had an aha moment, and would be like two or three people be willing to say their purpose statement as maybe it's starting to come together in your mind? And if you had an aha about how that could drive your communication with your clients or anything in your life and your business, I would love to hear from two or three people who'd be willing to share. Maybe I should give you a minute to write it down. I don't think I gave you a minute to write it down, did I? Take 1 minute to write it down. Then I'll come back.
I actually have an aha moment whenever we're ready.
Who is that? What's the name?
Ray
Ray. Let's do
Brophy.
Ray, give me 30 seconds for people to write everything down, and then you're up first. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, Ray. Thank you for being the brave soul to volunteer first.
You're welcome. The aha moment is that reaching out to people is simple. A lot of people have, a challenge of what do I say? And like you said, just make it something purposeful. It doesn't have to be about real estate. Just talk to people. So like you said with the concert, I do a lot of events in the community. Just make it simple and to the point. Like, hey, reaching out to you, we have an event going on. And then just let the conversation naturally gear toward real estate.
That's absolutely right. It's interesting when I think back to March and April when we were fixated on doing the face shields, all of my care calls were, how are you? Do you need anything? And then it became, can you help us put together these face shields? Well, what are you guys doing? Well, we're putting together face shields for healthcare heroes. And then, of course, the conversation rolled into, oh my gosh, are you even allowed to show houses? What are you doing, right? And it ultimately, of course, landed on real estate. And at the time, that's when it was super slow for a lot of people. And I told the team, I said, these calls and what we're doing right now, people know who we are and what we stand for. And this is mind share. And I have to believe it will turn into market share for us someday. And it's been profound to see how it has over the course of the year. But thank you for inspiring the conversation around that, Ray, because you're right. The calls that are made about your purpose, they do fuel your real estate. They do. Can I hear someone else put together their purpose statement and what action they think they may take with it? I saw a lot of pens writing, so I understand that it's a big one. But I'd love to hear one more if anybody would be willing to share.
I'll share mine.
Who is that?
Stephanie.
Oh, Stephanie, thank you. Now I see you.
To use my skills in organization and implementation to assist connectors to help end poverty and homelessness.
End poverty and homelessness. That's incredible. Thank you, Stephanie. What do you think that might look like in action for you? Because I heard your organization with connectors. I think you probably have a bunch of connectors right here on this training
it kind
today.
of ties in because I'm the MCA, so.
You are. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, well, let me quit screen sharing here for a second. There we go. Now I can see your faces better. So purpose plus action, it does equal profit, which can yield, like I say, giving, but really the giving is any kind of impact that you want to make. It's the legacy you want to leave, and it's the difference that we get to make. Each one of you is a light in your community. You're a light to everyone around you. And you've been called and created to make a difference in some really important, profound ways. And excuse me, when you think about it, you know, for David with family discord and sudden loss, that might look like a partnership with an organization like Good Grief. A friend of mine serves at an organization called Good Grief that helps families walk through grief together. For Kathy, you know, thinking through her heartbreak around no self-worth. Imagine if all of the young people in our world were able to take a class like Quantum Leap. For those of you who haven't taken Quantum Leap, it is a profoundly beautiful course written by Gary Keller that helps us just become better human beings and get to know ourselves better. And it was one of the first classes that I took that helped me realize that I needed to reprioritize my life. And I think about, for Kathy, how she could take her superpower and inspire the people around her and call through her database, her sphere, her community of people and say, is there anyone in your world who would benefit by this amazing course that we have, Quantum Leap, or Kids Can for young adults? Because I'd love to host that event for my community and the people in my community, their children. And we're pouring into the next generation of our clients' kids. How much would that resonate with those clients and then fulfill the purpose for Kathy of knowing that she'd made a difference for those young people to truly know their self-worth? And Scott, I think about your heart for animal abuse and homeless, and it's exactly the same as one of the women on my team. And every year it is consistently what breaks her heart and what she decides that she wants to do a pet walk in the reservation near us to raise money for the local shelter. So she uses her superpower of being a connector to inspire generosity and community around her and do a fundraising walk for the local shelter. Well, all of that is calls to all of her past clients and everyone she knows, and she's so excited to do it. It doesn't feel like lead gen because it's not. It is her purpose to call them and say, meet me in the reservation with your dog. I can't wait to see you. Now it's wear a mask, bring your pup. We're all going to donate $20. And at the end of it, we're going to know we made a difference. For you to hardwire that into your world with your people, you'll want to lean into the organization of that event every time you do it because you're passionate about it. It breaks your heart. You're going to want to make a difference, and your people are going to be so excited. And here's what I've realized over the years. Your sphere, your community, your people, they want to help. They don't know how. They aren't the leader that you are. They're looking for, especially in the world right now, they need clear leadership on how to make a difference and how to do good in the world, and they will follow you. So if you can take your purpose and turn it into action that they can easily follow you, they'll do it, and they'll be so grateful for the opportunity to make a difference along with you. Oh, and by the way, they become your raving fan along the way. And when anyone asks them who their realtor is or who they recommend, don't you know that they're telling your name every chance they get? Because they know who you are, what you stand for, and the purpose behind your business. I can't thank you all enough for sharing and for letting me have this discussion with you today. Stephanie, I know we've got a couple of minutes left. I don't know if there's any questions anyone has or anything else we want to talk through. But I'm super grateful that you had me here today.
We appreciate you zooming in. We really, I learned a lot, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions from anybody? Laura's on the phone. She's making it happen. Eugenia.
Vanessa, very specific question.
Yes.
Quantum leap. I've been thinking about it. I've been wanting to attend. I think that's the purpose that speaks to me. And what do you think are the best steps for me in that direction to experience?
I know the Quantum Leap is coming to our market center soon. I don't know, Stephanie, if you want to reach out to our team leader, Shannon Aronson, and find out if she's going to be opening it up to people within the region. Maybe she just opens it up to your people here to join us. But I did hear her in a meeting say that they're bringing Quantum Leap, I assume via Zoom, to us in about a month and a half. Yep. And when I took that, the first time I took that class, it was with Mo Anderson.
Oh, wow.
And it was mind blowing. And it was in that moment that I knew I was nowhere near the human being I wanted to be. And that's when my self-care journey really started, was with that class and with her. Yeah. Good question. It's a must-take class. Any other ahas or questions? I do want to honor your time block for being here until 2 o'clock. We got 60 seconds. Awesome. Well, you guys are amazing. I hope that you have a super safe Halloween weekend. Do something fun and stay safe. And now I know where you all are, and I hope you'll remember that I'm right up in the Maplewood, South Orange, New Jersey area. Everybody half an hour outside of New York City in the New Jersey suburbs. That's where I am. If you need anything at all, please don't ever hesitate to reach out. Stephanie, you can put me in touch with anybody on the side, and would love to stay in touch with everybody.
Thank you so much, Vanessa.
Thanks for having me. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too.